Restaurant and takeout foods may seem like a convenient solution for busy lifestyles, but for individuals with high blood pressure, they often represent a hidden and pervasive hazard. These meals are typically prepared with far higher levels of sodium, unhealthy fats, and additives than most home-cooked meals, creating a perfect storm for elevated blood pressure and long-term cardiovascular damage. The problem is compounded by the fact that restaurant meals are often consumed regularly and the sodium and fat content can be difficult to estimate, leading to chronic overconsumption. The most immediate danger is sodium. Restaurants rely heavily on salt to enhance flavor, preserve ingredients, and ensure consistency across dishes. A single entree from a restaurant, whether a pasta dish, burger, stir-fry, or sandwich, can easily contain 1,500 to 3,000 milligrams of sodium, sometimes exceeding an entire day's recommended intake for someone with hypertension. When side dishes, sauces, and condiments are added, the sodium content skyrockets. For hypertensive individuals, this creates acute spikes in blood pressure, fluid retention, and increased cardiac workload. Over time, repeated exposure to these hidden sodium surges accelerates arterial stiffening, left ventricular hypertrophy, and long-term risk of stroke, heart attack, and kidney disease. Restaurant foods also frequently contain hidden unhealthy fats. Many dishes are cooked with large amounts of butter, oil, or cream, and fried items often include trans fats or partially hydrogenated oils. These fats contribute to arterial plaque buildup, inflammation, and reduced endothelial function, compounding the negative effects of sodium on the cardiovascular system. The combination of high sodium and high fat content in restaurant meals creates a dual assault: acute pressure spikes from sodium and chronic vascular damage from fats, making hypertension more difficult to manage and accelerating long-term cardiovascular risk. Another hidden hazard comes from portion sizes. Restaurant and takeout meals are often much larger than standard home-cooked portions. Even if one were mindful of the ingredients, consuming oversized servings magnifies sodium and fat intake, turning a single meal into a major cardiovascular stressor. People often underestimate the cumulative effect, especially when meals are accompanied by high-sodium sides, sauces, or beverages, which quietly amplify blood pressure and strain the heart. Additives, preservatives, and flavor enhancers further exacerbate the problem. MSG, hydrolyzed proteins, and other compounds commonly used in restaurant cooking can amplify sodium's effect on blood pressure, increase vascular stress, and promote subtle inflammation. Many takeout meals, especially from fast food or chain restaurants, also contain refined carbohydrates and sugars, which contribute to metabolic dysfunction, weight gain, and further elevation of blood pressure over time. The habitual nature of dining out is particularly dangerous. For people who frequently rely on restaurants or takeout meals several times per week or daily, the cumulative effect of repeated high sodium and fat intake is significant. Unlike home-cooked meals, which can be controlled for salt, portion size, and ingredient quality, restaurant meals provide little control, making long-term blood pressure management extremely challenging. Chronic reliance on these meals silently contributes to arterial stiffening, fluid retention, kidney strain, and increased cardiac workload, often without immediate symptoms. Even seemingly healthy options from restaurants are not always safe. Salads, soups, or grain bowls may contain dressings, sauces, or seasonings that are extremely high in sodium and hidden fats. Without careful scrutiny, even dishes perceived as low-calorie or light can be cardiovascular hazards for hypertensive individuals. The hidden nature of these ingredients makes restaurant meals particularly insidious. They provide convenience and flavor while quietly accelerating long-term vascular damage. In conclusion, restaurant and takeout foods are far more than occasional dietary indulgences. They are hidden, high-risk contributors to high blood pressure and cardiovascular strain. Their high sodium content, unhealthy fats, additives, and oversized portions create both immediate and cumulative stress on arteries, the heart, and kidneys. Habitual reliance on restaurant meals accelerates fluid retention, arterial stiffening, metabolic dysfunction, and long-term cardiovascular risk. For individuals managing hypertension, these meals are not merely convenient. They are a stealthy threat that requires vigilance, careful selection, and, whenever possible, replacement with controlled home-cooked alternatives to protect long-term cardiovascular health.